everyone. We are harvesting wheat with Michigan farmer Mike Milligan, and you may remember riding along with him last fall when he was planting wheat in October. And today we are finally harvesting in July. And so we are going to show you a little bit of that process, and let me introduce you again to Mike Milligan.
Hello.
Mike, what's happening in the cab today?
Well, in the cab, we've got my monitor here that's running my auto steer so I can drive in a straight line. And it's telling me what the moisture of the wheat is, how much yield or how much grain's coming off the field, what your engine's running like, and this is how the combine's operating, how it's keeping the, separating the chaff and the straw from the grain.
Okay, and what is happening in the front?
Oh, this is the wheat, and it's standing in the most parts, and we're clipping it off, and we're taking in the straw and the whole grain and the head all as one. Then it goes into the machine and it separates it out.
Okay, and we're gonna show you what's in the back here too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so this is where the grain comes in, and this is what we're saving or what we're shipping off to market. It's all clean, and there's no straw or chaff, or hopefully no chaff in there with it. And we'll load that into the grain cart and send it back to the bin.
All right. And can you tell us, what is it? Where does this food go from this point?
Okay, so this is wheat, and it'll get shipped down to Frankenmuth, the Star of the West Milling. And they will turn it into flour, and one of their buyers is Kellogg's, so it'll get made into cereal or some of the products that Kellogg's produces.
Cool. So that ends up in my house, direct from your farm.
Yep.
What's your favorite product from this?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm a big fan of all Kellogg's products, so... But
awesome. And what's your favorite part about farming?
My favorite part about farming, well, this is probably one of my favorite processes. Wheat harvest is probably the favorite part, but overall, farming as a whole is I like the constant challenge. There's always something new, or always something that can be improved upon. Better yields, more sustainable.
And how is it that you're contributing to a sustainable environment here in Michigan?
Well, one of the easiest things to see right now is if you look down at the ground right behind the header, you can see some of our clover that we seeded on top of the frost when the ground was frozen in February. And it's started to grow underneath. And that'll build soil health and grab any leftover nutrients and tie those up and keep them up there for next year's crop.
Oh, wow. Well, cool. Is there other things that you wanted to point out today that you really appreciate about farming today in Michigan?
Farming today in Michigan. Well, I'm thankful for the weather that we've gotten this week. That's been a big plus. It's been sunny, and when it's raining, we can't harvest, and our grain starts to lose quality. So we're very picky about the quality, and the more it gets rained on, the more quality it loses. So we try to get it out of the field as timely as possible.
Yeah. Well, and this is a big job for just one person. Who do you have with you today in the field, and who's at home taking care of where you're putting this crop, or
okay,
where this food is going?
Yeah, so there's some other guys that we work with. There's Ron is over here right across the way. Maybe she'll show you in a bit, in the other combine. And so we're working with 2 machines to get this done. And then we have a couple guys that drive the trucks back to the bin. And there's another guy running grain cart around here somewhere to keep the combines unloading and keep us going across the field as much as possible. And the guys that run the trucks take them back, and then Dad runs the grain dryer and gets it down to the proper moisture and puts it in the bin for storage, and we'll haul it out during the winter when we're not as busy.
Okay, and when you say the proper moisture, what does that really mean?
So we dry it to 13.5, which is considered dry. 13.5% moisture by weight. So that's what it has to be at so it'll store properly. If it's too wet than that, it can start to produce mold, and it can start to mold in the bin, which obviously is bad quality. So don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want a bad quality food, that's for sure.
No, me neither.
And that's some of what your machine over there is telling you, right?
Right, yeah. So this is what it's telling me it's coming out of the field at. So right now this part of the field is 13, so this is about dry here, and our average is 15.8. So we'll take those couple points out before we put it into the bin for long-term storage.
All right, and I'm gonna show that once again. You can see how quickly that filled up back there, and as it gets more and more full, it's dumped into a cart, and that is taken for storage. If you guys have any questions about farming today in Michigan, particularly wheat harvest today in the field, let us know. I'm going to ride with Mike for a little bit longer, and we can hop back on and answer those questions. Or if you have any now, I'm not seeing any, but feel free in the next hour or so to jump on and ask those questions. Mike, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope, I don't think so. Thanks for watching.
All right, we'll be back in a bit. Hi again from the field in the thumb of Michigan's region, and we are harvesting wheat today with Mike Milligan. And I had a couple questions asked on our last video. One was what Mike likes best about wheat harvest, or harvest in general. And the other was what they do with the straw, which is kind of the chaff that is kicked out that isn't the grain. So Mike, what are your answers to those questions?
Okay, so my favorite part of wheat harvest is that we're constantly busy. I kind of have a 0 or 100 personality. I like to be doing something all the time or none of the time, and I really don't like the in-between time. So at wheat harvest, we're very busy, and there's always something to do. So that's what I like about it, and we're all working together, and we've got lots of guys going in lots of different directions, and when things are going right, it's really good. And what was the other question? The
other question is what you do with the straw.
Oh, the straw? Well, we spread the straw back out on the field. We feel it's better for the soil, and that the current price really doesn't reflect the added fertilizer cost that we'd have to take to replace it, or for the additional soil health that the straw gains us with extra organic matter added back to the soil.
And so an additional explanation from that question is that sometimes farmers will take that material that isn't the grain, kind of the stalk of the plant, and they'll bale it for nutritional need or bedding need for animal agriculture. And some farmers like Mike will just keep that on the field so that that material is added back into the soil for the nutrients to remain in the land. Next, we're going to see a really exciting process of the combine here that we're riding in and that Mike is using to harvest here. I'm going to flip the camera around, and he's going to dump the grain into the grain cart. And so another tractor is riding alongside of us with this wagon, and all of the grain from the plant in front of us that has been harvested is being dumped into this wagon, and then from this wagon it's put into the trucks on the side of the field, and I'll show you that here, way across the field. And then that from there is taken to Mike's family farm down the road. So as you can see, it's being harvested right in front of us. Mike is using no hands to steer the tractor. GPS is doing it all. The grain is being dumped from the bin behind us. Into this wagon. And then it'll be taken to their farm down the road. How cool to ride along with Mike today and see our food being harvested for all sorts of wheat products that end up in grocery store shelves across the state and across the nation. One additional question that I know is on a lot of minds is that we oftentimes talk about GMO, and I hear GMO referred to for wheat products, and so I want to ask Mike about GMOs and that related to wheat and how you feel about that.
So there's no genetically modified wheat available for being grown or for market in the U.S. or anywhere in the world, I don't believe. So there's GMO has DNA spliced into it from a different plant or different organism to make it resistant to some form of something that's bad for the plant, so it'll help it grow stronger. But there's no wheat out that currently does that. That's corn or soybeans or sugar beets, some other crops that are GMOs, but wheat's not a GMO crop.
All right. So for those of you who have asked me at different events about GMO wheat, there you have it from the farmer himself, that at least the way that he defines GMO, GMO wheat doesn't exist. And so part of that conversation that we have with consumers every day, and as you develop more and more questions about your food and about farming systems, please let us know at any time, and visit michigangrown.org at any time to ask those questions, or pop them into our Facebook here and we'll get them answered for you direct from the farmer. We're going to keep riding along for a while, but please let us know what questions that you have, and thanks for joining today.